because she tried to.
Good
she
morning.
went after the.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Because she went after the cops.
Right. Remember? And they ended up having to drop the charges and stuff.
Because they tried to sue. We kind of walking today and talking about, well, we loop back to the conversation about the murderation and the threatenation of black prosecutors throughout the nation. So we were talking about, is it Mosby and Ferguson, the black woman who was a Barnard alum from New York who supposedly committed suicide, the black man in Florida who supposedly committed suicide, and somebody else you said had been threatened. But I had wanted to.
I think they were saying there were gunshots. I don't know if they're saying suicide. I don't know what they're saying.
We're walking by Buckets of Rain. I don't really know who they are. I had Googled them a couple years ago, but I ain't going in there. Isn't that terrible? I'm so antisocial. But they got their tomato crop in. I don't know if you can see, you know, the man back there working. And they got a little piece of something over here too. So this is just in Highland Park, what used to be Highland Park High School originally. By the time I came along, it was Highland Park College, community college, and the medical facility or whatever over here. So, you know, and these little plots of land, people be doing stuff. And
College over there.
that used to be the college. It was originally the high school, but all of this stuff is abandoned now. It's something that goes on over there because I see people eating lunch. And then in Ferguson, as I understand it too, these activists are, you know, it's been 2-3 of them. I think it was 2 I had heard of within the last year who had been found burned up in their cars or whatever.
Yes.
But I think it's been, you know, probably more than that. I just haven't stayed on top of the story.
Well,
So
I would imagine that it's nothing new when you think that historically you kill the uppity niggas and you keep the other niggas in line.
you kill the uppity Negroes and you keep the other Negroes in line. That's the theory, right? But it don't really work. And you know, I guess also just thinking, I had watched
It may not really work, but that's what they've done since they first put us on the slave ships.
yeah, that's what they've done. But we still continue to resist and rebel. I mean, you ain't stomped out the spirit of rebellion. You can't breathe that out. You can't breathe out the spirit in a human being to resist bullshit, inhumanity. I mean, you know, here and there, different people's tolerance levels is different. But y'all, we walking by. Yeah, you can scare off some. Y'all, we walking by a row of mulberry bushes. They gonna be ready in a minute, and I'm ready. Woo! I saw some today that were pinkish, purplish. You know, it'd be so many different varieties. When we walked last year, it was white ones. It didn't even look like they didn't even look ripe, and they were delicious. My mother had to teach me to eat them. I'm like, that ain't even ripe. And they were past ripe. They were delicious. And I was saying today that we, you know, when the season comes, you can look on the ground. If they ripe enough to fall on the ground, they probably ripe enough to eat. But so many different colors and stuff. Yeah, I didn't mean to. So yeah, it worked with some people. I mean, something, you know, something worked with everybody.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
And you may not need to scare off everybody. You just might need to scare off a few to make it a tipping point.
Right.
So that the few who do go by themselves, and it ain't enough to just rebel and, you know, kill you and everybody took off.
Yeah. But if you think, the way I look at it, I'm like, well, you know, 300-400 years in, and you still, you know, got the children, you know, protesting, complaining, rising up, organizing. I mean, it's like, that's human nature. That's, you know, and, you know, yeah. And I was just going to say, I watched American Gods #2 yesterday, and the first scene was Anasi. And I think of Anasi in collaboration with the Yoruba. There's a Ellegba. I think of Anasi and Ellegba. You know, they correspond in my mind because of the trickster nature of both of them. And I don't know if Anasi was known to to be a leader at crossroads, or to have, you know, power and strength at crossroads. We're at a crossroads now. But, you know, it was interesting to see Anasi in that crossroads. You know, you on a ship. That's the crossroads to the crossroads. That's when you are making that transition and away from being a free person to being enslaved. I mean, you know, and their life is never going to be the same after that. And, you know, Anasi came, and Anasi said, burn this motherfucker down. I was like, well, gosh darn. Anasi said, you know, you think it's bad now, it's going to be worse in 100 years, it's going to be worse 100 years after that, and it's going to be worse 100 years after that. But if we burn it down, you know, we going to be dead. Baby, you already dead. That's what Anasi said. I was like, well, good Lord. That was encouraging. So, yeah. I guess that threat of death is only so useful if there's, you know, something to correspond. And that's why a lot of times when they be, you know, really tightening down and damping down on people and real hard on people, you know, it makes it where they ain't got nothing to lose. Right. You know, so then they really be ready to rebel. You know, in order for people, I think, to be, you know, in some ways receptive, you know, to not rebelling or not resisting, you know, they have to have something, you know, to fight for, something to lose. But anyway, you see anything interesting on the news today? The State of the Black Union is going on. I wonder about this plant right here. You know, I think this is amaranth. I'm gonna put it on video, and then I'm gonna look in my books. I'm gonna do some research. I'm not sure if it's amaranth or not, but I know you can eat the greens on amaranth, and the grains are good too. And I never learned to identify it. If you're in Detroit on the 24th, probably in the morning at Malik's farm. What's the name of the farm over on the east side? They're gonna have a D-Town farm. They're gonna have a herb walk. I gotta try to put that on my schedule. I think I got a show that day at 2, but I don't know. I might be able to do it all because I really want to see it. So anyway, I got distracted. Anything exciting happening on the news?
Can't think of anything right now.
All right. Somebody resigned from 45's press office.
Yeah, he just was there for 2 weeks, and he's already getting the hell out of Dodge.
Right. I don't know what fool gets into Dodge.
Right, at this point.
At this point.
Right, you know, right.
I don't know who these people are, what they doing, and why. But I guess they like it.
Maybe
I love it.
It helps his resume to say he worked at the White House press office, even if it was just for a couple weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You know how stuff be different for white people anyway, so it ain't for me to understand. All right, good people. So I'm gonna try to get my review of American Gods episode 2 up today. I couldn't seem to get my my Handmaid's Tale. It kept giving me harlots on my Kodi. Every button I clicked, it gave me an episode of Harlots, maybe episode 8 of Harlots, or 7 or 5, or wherever I am on Handmaid's Tale. So I'm gonna try again today. This is the pace they say you're supposed to walk. They say you're supposed to walk slow enough so that you can talk, but fast enough so that you can just barely talk. So I notice sometimes on these tapes when I be walking and talking, I be like all out of breath. So I guess, ooh, doesn't that look pretty? So I guess I'm walking at the right pace. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get that up today, and I need to try to, yeah. So I had some technical difficulties. That's all I got, Fabulites. Be you, be fabulous, be fabulous you. What you walking? What you talking about today? Where you walking to? Peace.